I am Isaiah Twanjire.
Isabel Twanjire here. Tukona chutia fanange soko ita Isaiah. I say just
I think I'm still learning what it means to truly honor your father and mother.
I'm more curious about why I struggle. I am an artist, a lawyer, and a mother. And my brother is going to ask me a couple of questions. Yeah.
I am a music producer, / lawyer, / what? Part-time chiller. Yeah, and I'm glad to be here and grill her with some questions.
Let's go.
Yeah. I am seeing a very interesting question.
Don't aim for me. Just read the question.
Okay. Would you rather time travel into the past to meet our ancestors or into the future to meet our descendants?
Definitely the past. Because I already have information about the past.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can use that information to my advantage, I reckon. As long as we remain on the African continent, because, continents, I don't think we're treated very well. But at the same time, if you time it right, like French colonization or like Roman colonization, where blacks were also kawa, maybe some of those pockets there.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely the past. Descendants, what if I don't have descendants? And then I go there and...
Why wouldn't you have descendants?
There's no one. Don't have that anywhere.
But yeah, I would go into the future.
Why?
I think if I went back into the past to meet my ancestors, would look at me and they would be like, look at this guy.
Feel a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I would be like, he's so soft. Yeah. He's so... So I want to go to meet my descendants so that I can bully them.
So you look nice, eh?
Yeah.
You look nice.
I'd be like, I'm your ancestor. You guys are not being serious.
Okay. I get that.
Yeah, it would be easier.
That's a bit too... Okay, my turn. What music or songs bring back memories of your childhood?
That's such a broad question.
Yeah, it's a nice one. Can't wait for that.
It's a nice one. But when you mention that, I have memories of Mama picking us up at school because we studied from Kampala parents. And at the time, there was that small RAV4 that she was driving. And so she'd pick us up. And these memories are mainly with our brother Isaac. So she'd pick us up in that RAV4 and she'd always buy yogurt for us, these small sachets. But she always forgot to bring straws. So we'd drink directly from the sachet. And there was a cassette tape of the Keith Green album from, I think, 78. I forget what it's called, but it's about leaving Egypt.
So you want to go back?
Yeah. So it would be stuck in the cassette tape player thing. And we'd just listen to it over and over again.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so when I listen to it, it brings back some memories. Yeah, but I have so many examples.
One other example?
Of music that brings back memories? I occasionally listen to... those music I listened to during my time in high school. A lot of Tyler, the Creator. A lot of electronic music as well.
Martin Garrix.
But that was around the time I was going deep into the rabbit hole. Because you're like, man, this Ziki is nice, but I need something stronger.
Kitranada.
Yes. So S5, which was about 2017 to 16, because me and I'm still a kiddo. That was Ketranada. There was an album he dropped called 99.9. And so I consume music in form of albums, and I memorize that album from start to finish.
Isn't one of the songs still your ringtone?
Yes. It has been my ring. There's a song called Light Spots. It has been my ringtone since then. But I would listen to that album from beginning to end, and I'd crammed it. So whenever I would have difficult times at school, because I was also head prefect, things would get tense.
Yeah.
I would play the album right from the start to the end. Nice. It'll take me around.
Just regulate you.
Yeah, all in my head.
Nice.
Yeah, but for now, there's examples I can think of.
I think even me, when I remember like what you listen to, those are like really apt for you.
Yeah. Even Tame Impala.
Oh yeah, Tame Impala.
Kevin Parker.
Kevin Parker. Yes.
Which is it was very rare music at that time.
Special music.
And I remember I'd play it in the house and you guys would get so pissed.
Yeah, because like we just weren't ready to understand it at that time. I think
it wasn't common.
It takes, I think, some exposure to gain an appreciation for it. And I think that's something you did very well with us, because we'd ask you, why are you listening to that? Then you say, I appreciate this. Be like, oh, I see that. I appreciate the same.
Yeah.
So I think both like Isaac and I think Abigail as well. Yeah. There's a lot of, not weird, but like underground music we got to listen to because that was more of your palette.
Yeah. And I think over the years, it has even deepened.
Yeah.
I find myself listening to underground music from way back, all sorts of acts right now, like listening to underground rap from like New York, or I don't know, some bits of French rap.
Yeah,
it's all over the place. But that's how it has been for me. Music always has that special place.
Generally, a deep music producer, deep guy.
A deep guy. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next question.
Are you skipping sound?
Yeah, some of these questions are very. I don't want to break down from here.
You don't want to cry.
Yeah, I don't want to cry. This
Can we talk? This couch right here is a safe space.
Okay, I'm going to ask it anyway. When do you feel closest to me?
When do I feel closest to you? I think it's when you're jazzing your opinions, because like in all of us, I'd say you're one of the quietest.
Yes.
And it's always awesome to like hear from your own mind or from your own ideas, or to hear something you're passionate about. I think my most favorite time was when like we all started working.
Yeah.
And like every morning it was dropping Abby at school, dropping me at work, then you getting to work, and there was a project you were teaching us about, like, let's listen to this Biggie album. Do you know that?
Music history.
Yeah, it was like a music class each time, or like a history class, or I don't know, some weird drum and bass, like projects, and you're connecting it to how it's responsible for the resurgence of EDM. So like just hearing the stuff you're passionate about, or like the podcasts, the really weird podcast you listen to about.
I listen to some
about like HBO, especially HBO.
Documentaries, talk shows, and
So I think I feel closest to you when I'm learning from you, because like for sure there's no way I would have known that stuff, or been interested in it. Like I'm interested in it because you're interested in it, and because like your enthusiasm and passion about it is moving. Yeah. I think I like that we can teach each other stuff.
Yeah. That's good. Me on the other hand, there are two instances when I feel closest to you. And do not judge me for this.
Judging already?
I feel closest to you when you take me out for food. Yes.
You like food?
Yeah, I love food. When you say, Isaiah, come on, we eat here. That's when I'm like, yes.
Yeah?
I have arrived.
I got you.
The second time is when, because we happen to play in the same choir in church. That's when I also feel closest.
Really?
Yes, because other people have noticed it. When you're on the keyboard and I'm playing drums, there is an unspoken chemistry that is there. We'll be maybe going over a bridge somewhere of some worship song.
And you get the dynamic.
You will just give me a look like this, and I know, okay, I'm going to go loud here. And then you'll give me another look without saying anything, without doing hand signals.
Like we're washing out of the chorus or something.
And I know that I'm washing out, or I'm taking it down, or the song is ending here, or I should end loudly. Yeah, those are really good moments. And once in a while, when the entire family is playing, because our family is very musical. When it's you on the keyboard, me on the drums, Dad on the bass, and Isaac on the guitar, and Abigail on the mic. That's when I feel closest to all of you.
Nice.
Yeah.
I guess we should do it more often.
Yeah.
And also, I guess, how long we've been doing it also.
Yeah, because, I mean, when did you start?
We probably started doing this in my campus, and I think you were just finishing high school around there.
Yeah, but for you, the piano stuff was much earlier.
Yeah.
That was mostly...
Okay, yeah, of course, like playing piano was like in high school, but like church setting, all of us and everything.
Yeah.
I think that was campus. Okay. So that's what? 2016, 15 to present day.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get together and do some Jonas Brothers like thing and take guess. Okay. I like this question. What do you think I misunderstand about you?
Yeah, that's a tough question. Okay, what you misunderstand about me is how I relate with people. Because I think there is, even though I'm a quiet person, the times I can be outgoing. You know, I'll talk to random people. I will say hi to a security guard and strike up a conversation. I'll talk to a vendor. I'll talk to anyone. So I think in your mind, when you see me discuss with people that freely, you think Isaiah is more social than I am. And yet for the longest time growing up, I won't call it anxiety. That would be too much. But I was scared of interacting.
There was some trepidation for like being in touch with people.
Yeah, and especially you and my big brother Isaac. You had these big personalities. And so I'd gotten used to being quiet. Yeah. And so I think on some level you think I have opened myself to the world and I'm able to like talk freely and all that. And I'm more social, but I still struggle with it greatly. Yeah. I'm not good. For instance, I'm not good with new people. If I met someone 5 seconds ago, I'm not going to be the most open with them.
And yet somehow that's a funny thing. You manage to like make them very comfortable and talk. So it's not something.
Then I feel like I'm being cold towards this person because I don't know them enough to like them. Yeah, and I struggle with that on a daily basis. Yeah, but that's something I feel it's still in the process of understanding about me.
I will take that into consideration more.
Yeah. It's my turn?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I really like this one. What impact has your family role had on the way you express yourself?
How much time do you have?
We have the whole day.
What impact? Okay, so firstborn.
Because, wait, we first have to separate them. Firstborn, mother, what else? Deputy parent.
Now I express myself.
Yeah.
I think there's good things and bad things to it, of course, but sort of in that intertwined way, you don't have lots of room to make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So in my approach to everything, I'm very solution oriented. Very like, let's get organized. What's needed? Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's get there.
That's you.
Yeah. And sometimes it's helpful, but at the same time, jumping into that mindset doesn't always give me time to process some of the things we are all going through or that are happening, or also doesn't give me, I'm not very quick to give others time to also process. I'm more of like, if this is the crisis, this is how it's handled, like yesterday, and so on and so forth. So I think, there's that growing up very fast because of the responsibility. And then there was also that crashing out and like acting out because since I was born, that's all I ever did.
Every firstborn has their limits.
Yeah. So I think when the pendulum swings, for me, it swings in extremes because of that. So expressing myself now maybe to a negative side, has also in some way affected how comfortable I am with doing what I typically do, like in other spaces.
Yeah.
Like as an artist, don't talk too much about your song. Like it's going to be cringe, like at work. Yeah, like this is enough.
Yourself.
Yeah, edit a little bit. So, you know, too overwhelming, too much, too this, too that. Because I think home-wise, like it's always like intense. I think we're all very heavy, loud, deep, intense people.
Yeah.
And so coming to environments that are not like that, sometimes you're just being yourself, and then guys are like, yo.
Yeah, what's up?
Like tone it down a lot. Yeah.
I think I used to get a lot in primary school was, this boy is mad, you know? Let's leave this boy alone. He's mad. So I begin talking about things. And be like,
you're weird. Like that kind of feedback. Or like, I don't know. Like lately it's been like, you're too detailed oriented. Like you're too.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the opportunity is also there to just find ways of accepting yourself, not necessarily in a combative way in our spaces. Who I am is incoherent, but more of like, it's okay for me to be this way. And I think there's this usefulness that I bring, and the application of that persona has a point. So to whatever that point is, as long as it's relevant, I can accept that for myself. But of course it's
ongoing process. Yeah.
Progress. Sometimes it can feel like you're in high school. You know I don't know why adulthood has felt a lot like an American high school movie. Yet like high school, like being a teen didn't feel like that at all. So it's interesting. There's a verse here. It says, honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land your God is giving you.
Yeah.
How do you understand that commandment to honor your father and mother? And how has that shaped your family dynamics?
That's a tough one.
Oh, yeah.
Honor your father and mother. How has that shaped my dynamic?
Shaped your family dynamics, yeah, like everyone else.
I think I'm still learning what it means to truly honor your father and mother. Because one thing our generation has kind of gotten right is learning to live for yourself. I think I had misconstrued it for living their lives instead of mine. And in some ways, I think I'm still struggling with that. The decisions I make right now as an adult, and there are these voices that come. I can hear mom's voice, I can hear dad's voice. And they're saying, don't do this, don't do that. You know, like you sit badly and you hear mama's voice.
Like sit up, sit straight.
Sit straight, yeah. But honor your father and mother. I'm still struggling with that. I don't know if it implies I'm supposed to kind of make them proud in whatever I do. Do I even know what it would mean to make them proud? Because I think we have an idea of the exact things we'd do and they would be like, good job. But how do we balance that with, with being our own people? Yeah.
And like maybe if I could add on biblically, how do you reconcile the interpretation with that experience? Because this was one of the 10 commandments, and then I think it's quoted again in Ephesians by Paul.
Yeah.
When he talks about like husbands, love your wives, fathers, don't provoke your children to anger, and then he requotes this as well. Like maybe from your understanding of what God had in mind when he also told us this alongside the natural psychological struggle that I think every child has had.
Like what he meant then.
Yeah, what did he want us to, like, because it says that you may live long in the land. For me, I think it's wisdom, like mommy has gone through more than I have because she's older than me. And I feel that directly intersects with what I imagine to be her love for me and good intention for me. Yeah. So from when it now comes to individuating, I think for me there's an easier balance to say, no, I want to go this way.
You want to go that way.
as long as it's contextualized in that respect for where they're coming from.
Okay.
That respect for their intention. For me, that's how I interpret honoring.
So it's listening to wisdom.
Yeah.
When age speaks, youth listens.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Like find the persuasion in what they are saying.
Yeah.
As opposed to I just want to do it my way anyway.
Yeah, because very soon, I mean, you're already a parent. Very soon, you're going to have this thinking of, I know what's best for my child. Your child will look at you and be like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to be a content creator full time. You know, you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
You'd be more skeptical about that.
I'd be like, dude, like you could be like so many other things.
What if he wants to be a Twitch streamer?
Yeah, I feel like that's more open-minded. But like more to your point,
yeah,
we come from this upbringing of being forced in very particular directions.
Yeah.
Like lawyer, doctor, etc.
Yeah.
So
because we were both pushed in the legal direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you said like I want to be a Twitch streamer, I'd be more open-minded to that than to like the fact that it wants to be a lawyer. I'd be like, okay, what about? But anyway, we shall cross that bridge when we come to it.
Ooh, I like this one. When do you feel most alive?
Me as me.
You as you.
As me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's because I'm so tired, but I feel most alive when I'm sleeping. Like,
wow.
Just to get some nice rest.
That is a really interesting.
I like to dream nice dreams. To wake up and be like, wow, what a beautiful night of rest and nice dreams. But then I think I also feel most alive when I'm achieving.
Okay.
Like
big achievements or even the small ones?
Small achievements, just like getting something from your mind and executing it. Even if it's just like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and this is how my day is going to go.
Yeah.
And because it needs to go like this, I'm going to do like this. And then pull that off. Just like, yes. Okay. Or like, we need to do this at work, or this is the song, this is the project in my mind. Yeah. And until I get it right, I'm not letting it go. And then you get it right. Like, yes. Like, there's that dopamine, I guess, that like
you did something.
Gives me that high of the process was worth it. Because for me, I think, yeah, the result, yes, but the process, that journey. So, yeah, I'm a bit worried about my answers, but yeah.
I feel most alive when I'm listening to music.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. That's something we can all see.
Yeah, those, and for me, sometimes I have like a visceral reaction to music, even the smallest things.
Yeah, I can like cry or like.
So there was a song that dropped earlier this week.
The Pharrell song.
That was produced by Pharrell Williams. And he produced it for a hip-hop group called Clips.
Yes. That
I'd been following since like second year. So this is part of their album rollout for a project that's coming out after 15 years. So it's a big deal. And I listened to this project and I think there were like some backwards reverse 808s that were there. And I could immediately place them to an old Beastie Boys song from like 89 called Paul Revere. And I got goosebumps. I just heard the beat and I was like, wow, this is incredible. Yeah. So
music has always been your thing, man.
Yeah, to me, that's when I feel most alive.
Yes. That's dope. That's dope. And like, that's why I listened to that song and I was just like, this is a great song. But like, there's a way you appreciate things, man.
But still on this question, are you worried that you're going to find something that truly makes you alive in future? Or more aliver, if there's such a thing?
I hear you. I think I used to have this panic, especially as a teen. Because as a teen, I felt most alive when I was songwriting. And I would songwrite so often, even campus so often. And then like, as life went on, the frequency of that reduced. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be these old people. When I was young, I used to be something, music. And I'm like, I can't imagine life without this thing that gives me so much like purpose and joy. But I think what I've learned is what keeps you is the principles of things, right? Because songwriting is just one way to be creative. Underlying the excitement of that is the opportunity to emote, feel some type of way, and use words and melody to bring it down. And so I see that in so many other things. There's a way I used to think about creativity as just being artistic or musical, but in the way I approach problems, in the way I work, in the way I organize my time, in the way I write a contract, like all of that employs curiosity and creativity.
Yeah.
And if I follow that same thread of underlying principle, I think I can still find that.
And yet you're best when you're curious.
Yes, when I'm curious, when I'm creative, when I'm executing, because that's where it comes. What if, like, I did this way tomorrow? Like, what would be the end?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I was right. Or I was wrong. I need to tweak it in this way. So, yeah, I think that's how I release that panic. So moving forward, maybe how I'm being creative is completely different. Maybe it's in my parenting with how I deal with whatever Luca is going through, or things I've never done before, you know, but like I know what will always keep me excited. It's just the opportunity to be curious and to be creative with arriving at like something.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it scares me because I don't know what makes me feel most alive, like fully.
Yeah.
Because what if 5 years from now, I'm assisting police in an arrest and I'm like, I felt so alive.
The power. Oh.
Yeah. And then it leads to something else. Or I get into a fight and then I begin a fight club.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Like, what is the extent or like scope of my self-knowledge that could negatively like, or inversely express an excitement?
Yeah. What if you do something bad and it just makes you feel so alive?
Yeah.
So me, it partly scares me. So I'm just...
Dude, that's deep.
I'm just going to stick with Pharrell for now.
What does BoJack Horseman say about that? You have a BoJack quote?
I don't have a BoJack quote this time.
Oh, that's one?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right. Yeah. What quality do I possess that you wish you had?
I wish I was no nonsense.
I'm no nonsense?
Yes.
What do you mean?
There was a time we went for, I think the Java's breakfast thing had just come. Yes, I love using this example. So I remember we were like, hey, it's Java's breakfast. Let's go. And so I know the breakfast ended at around 11. That's when
No, it's in at midday actually.
At midday, yes. Yeah. And then past midday, that's when they'll bring out the lunch menus and whatnot. So I remember we got there at 11:40 or 11:38. And so the waitress comes and she's like, it's time for lunch, so we're no longer serving breakfast. And you turn to her like, it's not yet midday. So we need the breakfast menus. And she kept dilly-dallying and saying all sorts of things, but you're like, no, breakfast menu. It's not yet midday. And so she brought the breakfast menu. I think the rest of us had accepted. We're like, I mean, it's coming to midday. So but we were like, no, I've reached here at 11. It's not yet midday. Bring my breakfast. And so I think those guys had to rearrange themselves and prepare breakfast somehow. But yeah, I wish I was as no nonsense as you are, because like you said, you're solution oriented, and that helps in something like the law.
Yeah.
Where you're constantly, it's just problem solving, basically. And me, I am someone who has always lived by the motto of it is what it is. Because I think at a certain point in life, I just said certain things can't change. And yet as a lawyer, if you're advocating for any form of justice, it's based on that belief that things change.
Advocacy.
Yeah. If the law says this and we think it's unconstitutional, we're going to fight so that it is constitutional. So that's something I wish I had. Yeah, because but I'm getting it slowly, you know?
Because I feel like more than anyone, Isaiah, you're also like this very clear boundary setter.
Yeah.
You know, like you have your rules and you're like, by the way, if you didn't judge me about this thing, I don't care. I'm not doing it because I already have my calendar set and that's it.
Yeah.
But I think for me, what I wish I could learn more, and I think I do, is your ability to be pragmatic.
Okay.
In the context of like being very solution oriented, sometimes I think I slip into, I want to control everything. I want everyone to be happy.
And
you're just like,
not my circus,
not my circus, not my monkey. I told you didn't. Moving on swiftly. Like, it's hard for me to let some of that stuff go. And especially with like our family. Like, I know if I have a spat with like dad or mom, I'm going to be like so in it. And you're just like, just give him some space. Like, if that's where he's at, that's where he's at. I'm just like, yeah, you're actually right. Like,
but for me, that has been a problem because I haven't been able to process certain things in my life.
Yeah.
Because of that. So I will be in the heat of the moment of something. Maybe I'm arguing with someone, or I've gotten into a scary situation. And because of that, I will kind of block out whatever.
You disassociate.
Yeah, because, I'm on the road a lot. I drive a lot. So there are instances where I've hit things and, you're trying to figure out how to sort the issue out. And then I kind of just say, it's not my problem. And I won't really address.
Like, dig into it to like.
Yeah.
Process it.
And then even if it's solved, I feel it later. It's like I postpone my feelings.
Yeah.
So it will hit me like a week later, and I'll just be someone that'll be like, wow, that was a scary situation. Yeah. But for you, I feel like we are more in touch with with the situation and how you feel about it.
Yeah, like I really tried to figure out how to postpone stuff, but
yeah, and that's something I wish I had. To be in the moment and say I should be angry, and I become angry is so hard. I'll be in a situation and I'll feel nothing, and then the anger will show up the day after. Yeah.
But I guess like for both of us, then the awareness we have about those states, I think we just need to be responsible about knowing, I should lean into like sharing more, such that some of that stuff can come out. Or like, for example, me, I should lean into regulating more, because like you can't afford to crash out each time something intense is happening. Like, you have work, you have stuff to do. So I think it's a balance, and I think we already have that synergy of like supporting each other in that will. I don't know why though. But like in comparison to maybe Isaac or Abigail, like I think we know how to do that for each other best.
Yeah. Okay. What is the biggest change you've noticed between the person you are today and who you were a year ago?
Damn. No. Isabel of 2025 is, she's more present.
Okay.
I think I was still on the fumes of like putting distance between a lot of what I'd gone through between 2020 and like up to then. And I think a lot of the ways I was maladaptively dealing with that is just keeping like insanely busy and like unconscious. You get what I mean? Like
autopilot
of like, I don't want like even 1 hour to like, like, what can I do? Where can I be? And, I like that I can now just be at home, like on a weekend.
Okay.
Or like just be content to work, as opposed to like, no, there's so much I have to do with everything. I have to move in this direction. I have to keep busy. I have to da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So at a point I thought it was maybe burnout, because 2023 and 2024 are really, really busy for me. But I think that was just for a minute. Now I am more comfortable with a lot of what I went through.
Yeah.
And more accepting of like where I am now. And I think that's given me like some inner peace that I can now see outside as well. Yeah.
And for you, it has been quite a roller coaster. I feel like for you, it was just a good solid 5 years of suffering. There are times I would sit down and I'm like, how do I pray for this girl? And you don't know where to begin from. And as you're praying for that one thing, you think about the other thing, and you're like, hey.
No.
But it has changed you. I feel you're in the best place you can be. Yeah, even if you may not feel that way. Because I remember what it was like seeing you go through all these different struggles. And it was something new every week.
Like a real telemundo.
Yeah. And I'm like, does this ever end?
Yeah.
Does it? Yeah. But I think right now you're in a much, much better place. Yeah. For me, I think, and this is unfortunate, I think the version of me last year was more optimistic about life. Right now, I am at my most pessimistic.
Is that you need to redefine the word optimistic? Because like you are too pragmatic to even be considered optimistic. So what in the world is the scope of pessimism for you?
For me, pessimism is maybe on the more philosophical side.
Like
I always think of the worst possible scenario. It has always factored in my head. So whenever you ask me an opinion on world politics, or where Uganda is going, or leadership and all these different things, the first thing my brain registers is the worst possible outcome. And unfortunately, that has seeped into my life. But I'm learning to. It has helped me kind of appreciate life a bit more, because I keep thinking. You have those thoughts that come in the middle of the night. Those thoughts that are very embarrassing. Small things like, I deserve to be alone, or I'm not worthy of love.
Like self-worth.
As the worst thing.
Self-aggrandizing.
And then the next day you're chilling with some friends who are asking you, Isaiah, how are you doing? How is life? And you're like, okay, I expected the worst thing in life, like I always do. But right now it's good, So even the small interactions, the time spent with family, a nice meal somewhere, the small things, I think I feel happy about them. But the future still looks
like more uncertain and what's
it looks terrible. Yes.
Like worse than Iran and Israel right now.
Yes, I'm thinking of the worst. Yeah.
Okay, what's that?
Yeah, it's pessimism.
Like zombie apocalypse?
Yes.
Last of Us style?
Everything.
Oh, wow.
Everything you can think of. Yeah. But it has helped me appreciate the small things in life. On certain days, I will reach home and I'll say, I didn't get into an accident today. But while I was on the road, I was just thinking about accidents the whole time. I was thinking about...
seeing them everywhere.
I was thinking about like EPS and having to look for 1.2 in a week. And now I'm home, I am intact. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Yeah.
I think that's the upside of like suffering, and also that perspective. I think culturally and sometimes as people, we come a lot from I am entitled to good things. I expect good things. I expect the bare minimum. But there's a perspective of like, no, but for real, if you give into all the facts, everything should be as disorganized and messy and blowing up. It's more of like we say, why me all the time, but it's like a why not me thing.
Yeah, why not you? Why should you be the exception to what happens to everyone?
Yeah, and like when you dig into the truths of, like for me, it's Murphy's Law. What can happen will happen. Like why not? Why won't it happen to you? You then end up on the side of like gratitude and praise. Because you're just like, I could be walking and a freaking meteor could land on me. And I got from where I was to where I was going, and it didn't. And like, because I'm aware of that, I'm full of praise and gratitude for like me being here right now.
For even the smallest things.
And I think it came from that time of just like, as you said, like, where's the next thing coming from? So like to even have like a beat, be like, I'm just thankful. Like this week didn't have as much crisis to handle.
Yeah. Actually, Louis C.K. says that you have to be a bit stupid to be optimistic, because why on earth would anything nice happen?
Exactly.
So if it does happen, you hold on to it a bit longer and you're grateful.
Yeah. But I think that's also where hope comes from, right? Because like when you're pushed into such a corner about like how life is or how you see life, the only way out is to imagine that something good can happen. And that's not necessarily in the idea that it will, but in the action, right?
Yeah.
Of like, I'm scared about the fact that I could have these accidents, but I'm going to be on the road nonetheless. Like, that is hope in itself. That's not put to shame. And that's where like the praise and the gratitude and the testimony is, I think. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some deep stuff. You're a deep guy. I didn't know.
In the wind.
I like this question. What fictional family would you compare us to?
I do not have a good answer on this one because
I think.
Yeah, and this is unfortunate.
Not Martin Luther and his 10 children.
No, I was watching Succession.
No way.
Yes, and it's a good thing you haven't watched.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, because fathers tend to be the same.
Yeah.
Similar traits. So as much as I hate to say this, there are certain things I see in my own father that I would see in a character as deplorable as Logan Roy.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course, mom is out of the picture.
Why?
There's no one on Succession who is like...
It's like mom.
Yeah. But I would occasionally see certain dynamics and I would be like, okay, that's similar to our family in a sense. Yeah. There was a scene where Roman Roy is fighting with Shiv.
She was the babe.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Emmy.
Yeah, the big sister.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this reminds me of simpler times when we would get on your nerves and you'd chase us. I don't know where you did that energy from. You were so fast.
It was annoying.
Me and Isaac would run, would look behind us, and you just keep coming closer. And then you'd catch up to us. And would be like, okay, stop. But yeah, it's unfortunate that's the first answer that came to mind.
But for the world you live in, I think, it can't be something as rosy as, like, you're very, I don't say nihilistic, but like the kind of, I guess, fiction you interface with is always like deep and intense.
But also it's an HBO show about how if trauma seeps into the family and it's not dealt with by the children themselves who then become adults, it then seeps into other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel that's where we differ because not to get too specific or something, but I think as a family, we're beginning to re-examine certain things.
Yeah.
And say, Dad went through this, Mom went through this, Isabel went through that. How does it affect, And, we have our own kids now, mother. And so it's interesting that that's the first fictional family that came to mind.
It's interesting.
What about you?
For me, I think of the Addams family because they're so weird. Like, no one is like them. And I feel like it's something I've struggled with like our whole life.
Yeah.
Like, our family is always way too specific in the way it like comes to life. Even if
like
it's
other families.
Yeah, like even if it's like a pastor's family, like it's a very different kind of pastor's family. Even if it's like, I don't know, like it's just always different. We're so individually, specifically who we are.
Yeah.
The same way like those guys are just who they are.
On their...
And I think that's what they go for. Not necessarily that they're witchy or whatever. They're just different.
Yeah, completely different.
So for me, that's the family I would think of.
But at the same time, have you ever considered that every person thinks that their family is weird?
Really?
Yeah.
No.
I think even when you go to other people's homes and they look like perfect.
Not perfect, but like normal.
I think for them, they'd be like, my family is a bit weird.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone on this planet who thinks my family is...
It's like the stereotypical family.
And if they're normal, I'm not normal. So it's... Yeah.
Maybe.
It could be that. Yeah, but Adam's family is interesting because I don't know who is who. So like, who am I in the Adams family?
Bugsy, obviously. You're like a silent brooding genius who's bullied. Okay, I wouldn't compare myself to Wednesday. I'd compare Abi to Wednesday.
Yes.
But not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we can make up some other characters for Isaac. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's my turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be a really nice spin-off though, like how the Adams are really dark.
Adam's family in Uganda.
Content creators, help us.
Okay. How are you like your parents? And then there's a follow-up. How are you different? Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of my strong, loud traits I get from my dad.
Yes.
From dad.
Yeah.
I see the similarities in that. And even the strong traits from mama. Like her decisiveness, her desire to keep peace.
Yeah. She's a peacekeeper.
She's a peacemaker.
You could send her into a war zone and I think people would calm down.
Yeah.
They'd be like, let's listen to her. She's a real peacekeeper.
Yeah. So I think maybe as a firstborn, some of those I've picked from like observing. I think I'm mostly similar to both of them in how they struggle. Like when dad is struggling, that's also how I struggle.
Yeah.
And when mama is struggling, that's also how I like emote.
Yeah.
Maybe how different I am from them is I'm more curious about why I struggle or like why I am the way I am. And sometimes it helps me understand myself better. So I feel sometimes for them when they're like difficult places, it's hard for them to process. But like generationally, like I don't know how comfortable our parents are.
It may be a generation.
Yeah. But I see that because I have those similarities with them, somehow I can be of help. I'm usually of help when they're going through those things because I can completely empathize with them. But at the same time, there's some sort of application because of that. Like when I'm going through this, daddy, this is what I do.
Yeah.
I think this is what we can try and do here.
Yeah, because many people from our parents' generation grew up in a time of turmoil.
Yeah.
Presidents were switching day and day, and they saw a lot of things they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And whenever they're narrating their stories of where those times of turmoil found them, it's like they haven't really processed it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's how I'd answer that.
Yeah. Which side do you think I lean the most?
I think for you, like, there is a level of, like, individuation you've done that has unfolded you so inside out. Parts of those similarities take their own shape. Like, I'd say, for example, you're a peacemaker, just like mama.
Yeah.
But, like, for you, it's not... Guys, let's make peace be ampaka. It's more of like you're an adult, you know what to do. Like you turn it back on you and be like, man, let me be a grown up here.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like in one question.
Yeah.
Like, so what do you want to do? I'm like, damn, I should do that important thing there. They're like the grown up thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like with daddy and taking charge or handling a crisis, you're super calm. Super calm. Which is like both similar to daddy and like so similar to daddy because it's so hard for dad to be in a crisis and be calm.
Yes.
Yeah, but for you, just like, yeah, I'm handling this with urgency, but everyone don't lose your heads.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, you don't even do it by saying, you just do it by being calm. And everyone is just like, dude, how the hell are you calm right now?
Yeah, I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
Especially why I work. Generally in the legal field, there are all sorts of emergencies. You get a call from someone and they say, hey, I was supposed to be in court for this, but I won't be. And you have to go and stand in for them. Or I remember, I think in my first week of clerkship, one of my bosses had an insurance meeting somewhere in Buya for some company, and he wasn't able to make it. So you can imagine, LDC, clerkship, I didn't know much about insurance.
You didn't even take insurance.
I didn't even take insurance law at campus. And within a span of 10 minutes, I had to become an expert in these things. So I was on the border reading all sorts of articles. And,
premiums. And what?
Yeah, I didn't even know the client's full name. And I reached there and I don't know, it just happened. Yeah. And so one of the people that worked there was explaining to my situation after the meeting.
And he was like, didn't seem that way at all.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you were panicking. Where did you pull all those words and figures from? And I was like, I honestly don't know. Yeah.
But I'll say like, maybe sometimes I miss like the fact that you can't, sometimes panicking is fun. Do you get what I mean? Like, and me and mommy bond so well over this.
Depending on what? What kind of panic?
And he says just, you're just boring. You're like, hey guy, panic for a little bit. Yeah, you know, like.
Yeah.
And you're just too calm all the time. Yeah. So.
Whatever happens. Yeah.
So that's interesting. There's this one. Which family member who is deceased do you wish you had met?
I would have loved to meet Daddy's daddy.
Same.
Yeah, it would answer a lot of questions. Yeah, because I feel like every time he talks about him, it's like there was something that was unresolved. And I feel now as an adult, I wish I could have just met him.
Yeah, we have more questions that only he could have answered, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. And that side of the family, I think we still have a lot of questions. Because there's some people there that we rarely see, or,
like it has its own dynamic.
Has its own dynamic that's different, and Dad kind of moved away from it. I wish we could meet not only him, but a lot of the people who passed on before we came. He's always talking about certain uncles, and we're like, who was that? They're like, oh, he died a year before you were born. Or who was this auntie? Or she passed on. So I wish I could meet them. I'm more intent on meeting them than, going back in the past and meeting the ancestors. At least these ones I would.
Yeah, because you already know so much about them.
Yeah, I would be able to bond with them.
But that's it.
But I want to meet certain family members that I wish were still alive. I met some of them, and then they passed. So
you wish you had more time with them.
I wish I had more time with them.
I
frequently have these dreams of a cousin of ours who passed on. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. And I think I would have just loved to see what he would have been like right now.
Yeah.
Because it happened
so suddenly.
I remember I was in P5 and they said, oh, you didn't make it to school.
Yeah.
Something happened. And I just wish I could have seen him in campus. We're seeing him right now.
Yeah.
Because we spent so much time playing with him at our auntie's home. I just wish I could have seen more of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My turn?
Well, that waterworks decide.
Yes. Yeah. Just give me a moment. There was a tough question. How would you describe our family to a stranger?
What? That's a really hard question. I think I begin with what we do. Dad always called us a ministering family. One day God called him to ministry.
Yeah.
And he called us too, to support him in that. Yeah. That's where the story begins.
Yeah.
I think I'd also describe us as a little bit enmeshed, meaning that we're very involved in each other's lives and like work a lot as like a single organism, which has its good things and its like really bad things as well. I think we're also really convicted people, not just from like a spiritual standpoint, but like whatever we believe in individually, we believe in it so much, like it can't even put us, like each other, like at loggerheads with it. So it's not about our ways necessarily. It's always fundamentally about what we believe and how we feel what we believe should express. I think that sometimes alienates us from other people
A lot.
Because sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, this guy is like, not taking this seriously. So like first we're like really convicted, like there's a seriousness.
Yeah.
We had about life and living, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like the highlight is like we're super enmeshed. Like right now, I think that has expressed in our friendships.
Yeah.
Like we are our best friends. Like I can't tell you your best friend. I don't know who your best friend is. I don't think I have a best friend.
Yeah.
For example, Isaac doesn't have like mom and dad have themselves. They don't have like
they don't
outside
have
people best friends. Like it's just us. So it's just been us. Yeah. And that's how I'd like describe us.
Yeah. There's also something you mentioned about a sense of seriousness, family. I think that has worked both to our benefit and our detriment. Because there are certain people I just simply can't interact with.
Yeah. You reach a point and there are just some people you can't.
Yeah, over small things.
You can't connect. Yeah.
Over small things. And for me, I mean, when you're befriending other guys, it's usually a chill thing. Like, oh, this guy seems chill. It seems nice. But the people I have...
But remember, that is your 5-year plan, this friendship.
Not really that. But the people I have unfriended in real time.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't like how he spoke to that woman.
Yeah, like he was not kind.
I'm not going to speak to this guy again.
Yeah.
And I just...
As opposed to like, dude, why did you speak to her like that? Maybe...
Yeah, I'm not going to bother to find out. I'll be like, I don't like how he spoke to her. I don't like how he looked at her. No.
Yeah, like...
And for us, unfortunately, cutting off people comes easy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like we rarely give people benefit of the doubt.
And so my particular crop of people I call friends is very limited. Yeah, there is I won't say there's an inner circle, but there are around maybe 5 or 4 people that are outside the family that I can like really, really rely on. The rest may be acquaintances, but making friends now is
super hard for us.
It's super hard because there's a sense of like seriousness.
Yeah, just difference. That's what I call the weirdness.
Yeah.
But I think even the few friends we have them because we've grown up with them. Even dad and mom, they're friends now. Like the ones you can say they are close to. They've grown up with them.
That's true.
So those are people we're close to.
I escorted dad once to a birthday party, and it was for Uncle Paul.
It was like his...
And he was saying, I've known this guy since like P2.
Yeah. Those are the people you will know.
Yeah. And then
not family that
I also have friends I've known since P1, and I'm in touch with them right now, and we're close friends.
I think we need therapy about that. Like, that doesn't sound okay.
I think we're fine.
I don't think so.
I think we're fine. We can make new friends. It's okay. Because why do you need like 10 more friends?
Because friends are awesome. And like, because we go better together.
I mean, you can just have a few. And then that's,
Shall see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about this convo?
This convo felt it should have gone on longer.
Yeah.
Because I feel for you and I, we have KB.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if we're given just a whole day and they just leave us with the equipment, we could exhaust.
So it's just these guys.
Yeah, we just exhaust every topic. Yeah. But it was a good discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was expecting harder questions. Coming into this, I was...
What do you mean harder? Like questions you'd struggle with vulnerability around, or like with an answer around?
Yes, because I struggled to be vulnerable. Yeah. I was worried I would see a question and just keep quiet and say no. And I just walk off the interview.
Dramatic.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed this. I think it's important for people to just talk. It's something we take for granted. To just sit down with family members, with friends, to just talk. No one has time to dig in. Yes. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it.
Same. I really hope or would wish, like, I wish we could do this as a family.
Yeah.
I know that same issues would be like, as soon as it gets too deep, guys would be like, yeah, someone's calling me. But like,
I know who would walk out first.
Yeah, so who do you think would walk out first?
That.
Same. Let me just be like, guys, bye.
What kind of question?
No, but you know the answer. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah, so anyway, but I think it'd be a great thing to do. For the same reasons, no one knows you like family, and like that in itself is a safe, like a reason to dig into answers, because they'll be probably the most truthful or like the most informed. So maybe we can now mobilize guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and trap them and like lock that door.
Oh yeah. Because if you tell them we're going for a podcast, they'll be like, what's that?
Even just the cards that won't be there.
We'll just trap them.
Yeah,
we'll lure them here. We'll lock the doors.
I'm serious about looking.
Yes, we'll lock the doors. Yeah, and they'll sit down. There'll be cameras.
Yeah, then I will be like, I don't know. But then eventually she'll just. Okay.